welcome to today's community briefing. My name is Gregory Sneed, and we are glad you're here. Today is the 9th of February in 2023, and we're glad you're here. So today our guest has something that everybody needs. Everybody needs it. Everybody wants it. And what is that? It's water. We all need that. We don't get by a day without water. And water is going to become more and more precious, especially here in Southern California. So our guest today is Mr. Edward Simon, and he is with the American Water Corporation?
California American Water, yes.
California American Water. There you go. So he's going to be telling us a bit about water, the impacts of our climate, and water preservation, perhaps even drinking water and water filtration. There's a lot of things going on with water. So something that everybody needs. And I think there's a large percentage of our body that comprises of water. So it is a big part of our world. So today we're getting some great information. Again, my name is Gregory Sneed. The name of my company is Lifesaver Financial Services. I help my clients keep more of the money that they make through life insurance services and solutions, financial coaching, and financial literacy training, because I firmly believe that when you feel better about your money, you feel better about your life. Now, it's my pleasure to welcome to the virtual stage, the queen of our community briefing, all right, of our community briefing is Miss Crystal Mitchell.
Thank you, guys. Glad you all are here. Welcome to the community briefing. Miss Robin is in the house. Hey, Robin. Woo, woo, woo. Kevin's in the house. Thank you, Joseph Duncan. I haven't seen him in a while. Welcome, guys. My name is Crystal Mitchell, as Greg said. I am the inspiration behind the community briefing. I felt that we needed to have a platform that spoke to us, about us, anything dealing with us, and hopefully in truth about us. So that was really the inspiration. And during the pandemic, I felt it was really necessary that we had someone speaking to us to tell us exactly where the money was, so that we wouldn't be applying when it was too late. So we have had an amazing group of guests here that have helped us stay in the know, because I have a saying that if you're not at the table, that you're generally on the menu of what's happening at the table. And so now we got some insiders that are usually at the table, and they can come back and share with us. So that's the inspiration and the power and the mission of the community briefing, is to keep us in the know so that we can make sure that we are operating in a timely manner when opportunities are presented to us. This platform is powered by Recycle Black Dollars and the BBA, the Black Business Association, and we're sponsored by Wells Fargo, Southern California Edison, SoCal Gas, and now PCR. So we want to thank our sponsors for helping us be here, and anyone that wants to donate to the platform, we are always open. We have open arms and open hands. So, and we do appreciate, that. You can also go over to our YouTube channel, The Community Briefing, and you can subscribe. We are really wanting to get our subscriptions up so that we can, one, have our own unique name, and secondly, we can start to monetize the YouTube channel. So that's the purpose. We have a fantastic team, Mr. Gregory Sneed, Mr. Stephen Turner, who is the producer, and he goes out and brings all you wonderful people here, and Miss Robin Billups, she's amazing, and myself. So that's the powers that's behind this. So we want to welcome our guest today, Mr. Edward Simon, and we are so pleased to have you. And all of our new faces, we want to welcome you, and all our people who have been here and continually support us. We want to thank you, and continue to welcome you back, and keep bringing friends. All righty, back to you, Greg.
And Stephen or Robin, you guys want to say hello? Or
you know what, you guys, again, I'm blessed that as of in the next couple of weeks, my Thursdays will be back as my Thursdays. I got this thing around my neck because some of you guys know that I'm switching from one clinical trial to another with my non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And yesterday I spent 6 hours at the City of Hope for them to harvest my T cells. Once they do that, they juice them up and they put them back in my body. And hopefully that's going to push me into remission. But I try not to miss this meeting every week, because what we've done is exactly what I talked to Crystal about when I first came on board. The mission is to provide the resources, so our folks can't say they don't know, and so I'm so excited to have Mr. Simon join us. I had we did a panel together some years ago. We had to drive from somewhere to somewhere, and we got to really know each other in that drive. It was several hours because our flight was canceled.
It was
so
Fresno. It was Fresno, California.
That's right.
Sacramento. Yes.
Exactly. We had to drive there to get to the plane. And so what happens when you spend that kind of quality time with a person, you get to know them. And again, I always say when I'm coaching folks is to follow regulated businesses, because the regulated businesses have to be in compliance. And it truly teaches you how to do business in a corporate environment and in an institutional environment. So he's a wealth of knowledge. And again, Stephen Turner keeps doing a fantastic job. And I know I bug him to death about what about this person, consider that person, but he responds appropriately. So again, well, family, I'm so glad to be back. I'm so glad to have my Thursdays back so that I can spend this time with you guys. Thanks, Greg.
And we're happy to have you back.
Welcome back. Thank you so much. So today our guest, Mr. Edward Simon, and he is with the American Water, California American Water, and he's been with them for 22 years. So it looks like he started off doing call handling and a CSC liaison. He was operations manager, director of customer relations, vice president of operations, director of business performance and supplier diversity, and now he is the diversity and inclusion officer. He has been with American Water for 22 years. And we talked about earlier at the broadcast how important what water is for us as, first off, as human beings and individuals. And of course, in construction, as the water's used, it's huge. All right. So he started off educationally, and I'm from Brooklyn, so I speak French, but not this French. It's Fontbonne.
That's right. That's right. Fontbonne University.
Fontbonne University. And he had a bachelor's of arts in organizational studies. From the University of San Diego, he got his master's of science in executive leadership. He is on the National Diversity Council, and he also got a certificate of diversity inclusion from Cornell University, the birthplace of Alpha Phi Alpha.
Right. Okay.
And so we welcome to the virtual stage, Mr. Edward Simon.
Thank you very much, Greg, and thank you to the community partner leaders. Thank you very much for allowing me to share today. I did start my timer because I can tell you I can talk quite a bit. And so I want to make sure that I stay on track with the time that is allowed, and certainly to allow questions. The good news is Gregory did a great job at introducing me, so I won't cover my background much, but I did think it was important that you understood a little bit about me and my journey with the American Water family. So what I plan to cover today, I won't cover much more about myself because Gregory did a great job at that. I thought I would also share just briefly my thoughts on Black History Month. As Black people, we should acknowledge that. And it annoys me when we just get 1 month out of the year to recognize and support small businesses. I think it should be every day. It should be 365 days of the year. But I'll touch on my thoughts about Black history. I will talk about California American Water. That's why you're here. You're probably wanting to hear who we are, what do we do, what do we procure. I'll also talk about to Robin's point, our supplier diversity efforts and being in compliance with General Order 156. What does that mean? What have we done? What efforts have we taken? What programs have we developed to help small, diverse businesses work with us, not only California American Water, but also some of the other regulated water utilities in the state of California. I'll touch briefly on our workforce diversity efforts. What are we doing to make sure that we're providing opportunities for people of color to work with us? I would tell you we have a long way to go, and you'll hear a little bit more about that. We're certainly making progress, but not where we need to be, quite honestly. And then I thought I would just touch upon some comments around community-based organizations like the Black Business Association and other organizations, and my thoughts on what do we need to do to improve our relationship and get small Black businesses and other diverse businesses to work. And then if time allows, I will touch on what my recent passion is, starting my own business with my business partner around the diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging area, if time allows. But I want to take up the bulk of the time to really share about California American Water. Crystal, I will tell you, when I heard the names of some of the sponsors, and Emma Maxey will tell you, I get jealous when I hear that water's not included. So you might want to reach out to me, exactly, and we can talk about maybe some sponsorship for the community briefing, because I really, really admire what you're trying to accomplish and want to be part of that. So please make sure that you reach out to me.
We most certainly will, and we don't want you to be jealous at all.
Exactly. That's right. That's exactly
Stephen,
right.
you got that?
Exactly. So Stephen, 2 for 1. You get me to talk a little bit and you get some money from California American Water. So that's good to help with programming. I'm not going to talk much more about my personal and professional career. Like I mentioned, Gregory touched upon that already. The only thing I would say, as Gregory was reading my brief bio there, is that my journey with American Water has been filled with opportunities. And oftentimes those opportunities was because of me thinking outside of the box and suggesting us in California American Water and American Water approaching different processes and trying new things. And I've been successful at that. And so I appreciate you reading the bio. And so I won't cover much more there. I will say that my role in the inclusion, diversity, and equity and belonging space started 13 years ago when I arrived in California as the Vice President of Operations. I was quickly told that we must, and we will, as my president said, focus on being inclusive of small, diverse businesses in our procurement processes. And he charged me with making sure that we are in compliance with General Order 156 and that we meet at minimum the goal of 21.5%. And I'll talk about our history. We have been able to meet and exceed under my leadership that goal. Most recently, 2021, we had about 48%, almost 50% of our spend was with minority-owned businesses. And that's because of the leadership and the support that I have within the organization. So I'm thrilled to be here. Let me just touch upon Black history. I did want to make sure that you knew that California American Water is acknowledging Black History Month. They asked me to be spotlighted on one of the weekly Black employee spotlights. And one of the questions they asked was, what does Black History Month mean to you? And my response was, it means that 1 month out of the 12, we focus on highlighting the many contributions that Black people make to make this world a better place. And I said everyone should celebrate their culture and history every day and not just one day, a week, or a month. But they also asked another question that I wanted to share with your audience. They asked, who is your most influential figure in Black history and why? And most all of you would probably know my response was to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for many reasons, but I'll share a couple. The first is he stood for nonviolence approach to accomplishing his goals, and he made it very clear that Black people's rights were just as important as white people. And second, his approach and his speeches were absolutely, and I'm sure all of you would agree, amazing, inspirational, and very truthful. There's two quotes that I want to share with you from Dr. Martin Luther King that I will leave with you and to ponder as we continue to celebrate Black History Month. The first is this one, and I quote, "People fail to get along because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because they have not communicated with each other." So think about that, right? The second one is, sometimes it's not the voices of our enemies, but the silence of our friends that reign the deepest. So I leave those two quotes with you to ponder and think about as we continue to celebrate Black History Month. So let's talk about California American Water and who we are. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge our parent company is American Water. And American Water, if you don't know, is the largest publicly traded wastewater utility in the United States. We provide services to approximately 14 million people in 46 states. We employ over 7,100 water professionals throughout the US. And get this, we treat about 1 billion gallons of water a day. That's a billion with a B. Throughout the states that we operate. So pretty large operation. In California, however, we are not the largest regulated water utility. We serve approximately 725,000 people in more than 70 communities throughout the state. We have 325 employees throughout the state. And we invest anywhere upwards of $100 million or more annually in infrastructure and projects, which I'll talk about here shortly. We have a vast number of storage facilities, about 100 storage facilities, over 11 million feet of pipe that transmit the treated water to our customers. In 2020, I don't have our I should have updated this with the 2021 numbers, but in 2020, our charitable contributions equaled almost $400,000 of charitable contributions. There are many opportunities for small, diverse businesses to work with us and become a vendor. And I'll share a bit about the various programs that we offer that your listeners may want to take advantage of. And I see a few folks that we work with already, which is good to see those faces and on the call today. But the bulk of our spend is around infrastructure. That's the procurement of pipe, that's purchasing meters, installing pipe, underground pipe construction, engineering services, water treatment storage, tank painting, and maintenance. We really need to define, hopefully your listeners can think about this, a Black-owned well drilling and rehab company. There's huge dollars in that area. There's huge dollars in the underground pipe construction. So getting some of our Black businesses to think about that area would be great to have our spend increase. And we'll talk about our spend here. And I don't sugarcoat much. We are not spending as much as I would like to see with Black-owned businesses, and we got to do a better job at that. Of course, we do procure and need goods and services from professional services, marketing, legal, finance, but being the largest water utility in the US, a lot of the finance, legal support comes from our parent company. Again, the largest amount of spend for us is around infrastructure related services. So I'd like to talk to you about our approach to supplier diversity. I'm pretty proud of our team at California American and our parent company, American Water, because we have embraced and fully support engaging small, diverse businesses in our procurement processes. I will tell you that we've had to do a lot of education explaining the why behind the need to be inclusive of small, diverse businesses. And part of it is we are serving a huge diverse community. And so we really need to make sure that our vendor pool matches that of the communities that we serve. And I tell people we won't rest until we make that happen. And we're not there just yet, but we're certainly on a good journey. As I mentioned before, we've exceeded the commission goals since 2009. Our 5-year average, which we're pretty proud of, is about 36% of our spend has been with diverse suppliers, and we're pretty pleased with that result. I like to see that upwards of 50% where we can and when we can. I do want to share a little bit about our accomplishments in 2022. If you don't know, I know a lot of your listeners know this, that all of the regulated utility companies are required to submit a report every year with the commission, with the California Public Utilities Commission, to say how well are we in being inclusive of small, diverse businesses. And as I mentioned before, we've been meeting the goals since 2021. For the 4th consecutive year, we've met all category goals around minority businesses, women businesses, disabled veteran businesses, and the newly established goal for LGBT businesses. We've also began holding our prime suppliers accountable to make sure that they're being inclusive of small, diverse businesses, so much so that under my leadership, we've created what's called a diverse business enterprise requirement statement that says, if you're going to work with California American Water and we're going to pay you and engage you with $100,000 or more in a project, then you are going to be inclusive of small, diverse businesses. Again, we're not where we need to be with Black-owned businesses. So I'm hoping after today's call and there's small, diverse businesses that you'll reach out to me, as some of your Black-owned businesses that are represented have done. Just quickly, a few of the programs that we offer to engage small Black-owned businesses to work with us is what's called our Partnering Forward for Success program. And what that is 3 years ago, I worked with Chicago United, which is a nonprofit out of the Chicago area. And what they were doing was requiring larger corporations in the Chicago area to mentor one small diverse business a year for over a 5-year period of time. So I reached out to them and said, I want to do that with California American Water. And we started that 3 years ago. I'm proud to say that in the 3 years, 2020 to 2022, has resulted in about $16 million in spend with small, diverse businesses. Not all of that's with California American Water. We're just proud to say that we are encouraging and engaging small, diverse businesses in not only California American Water's processes, but in our prime supplier processes. We added about 16 new diverse suppliers in 2022, resulting in about $4.5 million in spend with those companies. Not much, but we're still plugging away at that. And the one that we're really proud of is of our top 10 vendors spend, 7 are diverse. So 70% of our larger dollar spend, and these are ranging from $1 million to $17 million, is with diverse suppliers. Now, in the LA area, there's a few names that I'll mention. Unfortunately, none of them are Black-owned businesses, and I'm hoping that we can get some Black-owned business to be part of it. But a few of the companies that are part of what I call our $1 million circle is Doty Brothers, Innocente, and Burkage Construction. So if you're a small business, those are 3 that I would encourage you to reach out to see how you can work with them in a subcontracting capacity until you reach your prime goals. Also, we partner with California Water Association, which is a trade organization made up of all of the regulated water utilities in the state of California. And we have various programs that your listeners can certainly reach out to us and say that they're interested in. One is what's called our Water Acumen Training for Entrepreneur Readiness. What we do is we take up to 15 small, diverse businesses and teach them about working with regulated water utilities, what it takes, what's similar, what's different, what is the RFQ process, how do you register? We bring in our buyers to talk with them. So just something to educate small, diverse businesses on working with regulated water utilities. If you're interested in that, please reach out. I know Bianca was part of that class at one point. We have a RISE program that's focused on Black-owned businesses and getting them to work with the regulated water utilities. And then we have various Meet the Prime events as well. And then finally, we partnered with California American Water, partnered with Frontier Communications, Golden State Water, and then here in the San Diego area, the Civic Community Partners in partnership with Council for Supplier Diversity to offer a high performance series curriculum that is a 5-month program in conjunction with USD to really provide small, diverse businesses with the tools they need to be successful to run businesses. And the curriculum is really, really strong, and would encourage you, if you're interested in that, to certainly reach out to me and I can link you to the program director for that. And so that's our supplier diversity efforts in a nutshell. I will also want to point out that California American Water is working with, some of you know this name, Sharon Evans. She's the CEO and owner of Southwest Advancement Solutions. We're working together to create a robust technical assistance and capacity building program focused on building and enhancing Black-owned businesses. So if you're interested in being part of that program, please reach out to me. So that's California. I'm looking at my time here because I can talk forever here. And I want to make sure I leave time for questions. I'm about 19 minutes in. I can certainly open it up. I can talk about our workforce diversity efforts, and I can touch on those quickly. I can tell you, as the inclusion and diversity officer, we are not where we need to be when it comes to our workforce diversity. We want to see more people of color in leadership roles. I've been fortunate and blessed to be one of them, and I really would like to see us expand upon that. And we have developed what's called our 5-year strategy around workforce and diversity, focused on culture, improving our culture, the people, and making sure they have advancement opportunities and development opportunities. And then finally, community. Who are we working with in the communities to make sure we're partnering, having strategic partnerships with nonprofits like the Black Business Association, Community Briefing, and things, community organizations such as that, to kind of help us with backfilling and educating these community-based organizations on the working in the water space, and what does it take, and how do we create apprenticeships, internships to allow people of color to enter into the water space. Lastly, I'll just touch upon really quickly so we can open it up for questions, my thoughts on partnerships with community-based organizations. And I will tell you, and most supplier diversity professionals will tell you, that more and more our leadership is really looking at where we're spending dollars with community-based organizations. And they're asking for justification on what's going to be the results of this partnership. And I would tell you, and most everybody that knows me, I'm a pretty big guy, and I don't need lunch or dinner. I need programming. I need, how are we going to put Black-owned businesses to work? So, I like going to the galas and I like going to the luncheons and the breakfasts, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure that the dollars that we're investing in the community-based organization is being fruitful. It's yielding results. It's yielding results in bringing small, diverse businesses where there can be compete. with some of the other white-owned businesses. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for partnerships with community-based organizations that I can partner with and help sponsor and develop small, diverse businesses. So with that, that's all. I can talk about my business, but I think I want to hear from the audience if there's questions or anything you want me to touch on. I'm happy to do that.
You did great. There was a quick question here. If you could repeat the 3 California small business enterprises, SBEs, that are doing business with California American Water.
They are, we actually do business with the women business enterprises. Is that what they're at? Women business.
No, you mentioned earlier there were 3 businesses, and there was a question to repeat the from your presentation.
Oh, the 3 business, what we're looking for?
No, there were 3 businesses that you mentioned that are currly 3 minority business or small business enterprises that we're working with.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
and they are, yes, exactly. Sorry. They are Innocente Construction, Burkage Construction, and what was the other one? Oh, Doty Brothers. Those are ones that we have quite a bit of spend with, and we consider prime suppliers. They are diverse, so I'm sure they understand how to work with small, diverse businesses. So Doty Brothers, Innocente, and Burkage Construction were the LA based, the ones that we have a large dollar spend with. And
Thank you.
Yep.
One of the other questions that I neglected to ask you in the beginning, and I'm going to measure the enthusiasm that came from our co-host, Robin Billups, and take a wild guess. Do you hail from Missouri?
I do. I was born and raised in St. Louis. So
I kind of thought so. I knew it.
That's right, Robin. I forgot. We got to give props to St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah, I can measure her reaction to it.
Well, when he said that he attended Fontbonne, that you're talking about a very exclusive school. It really
I didn't know where that was. I never heard of it before.
It's really it's a quiet little sleepy little secret, but it's a very, very exclusive school.
Absolutely.
Now, Ed, the question that I have, and I've been blessed to be able to sit before the CPUC. I miss Gwen Moore tremendously.
Absolutely.
Because Gwen truly believed in me, and she was the one that put me before the CPUC several times.
That's right.
And I Pat Click and Emma Maxey and all my friends in the water space, you guys do an exceptional job. I guess my question is, if we have diverse companies that are in a sector that aligns with what the water companies do, how do we get those individuals, how do we get them into these cohorts? How do we get them in front of the primes in order for them to really get to the point where they can actually do business with you guys? Because I think that there are some folks out there, but the mindset of how do I transfer my skill set from doing, stick construction, vertical construction to being a part of the infrastructure construction?
Right. That's a good question, Robin. I would say part of the number one, I would say, please have the viewers and other and I'm saying Black-owned businesses because we're here on the Black Business Association, and selfishly, I want to see our spend with African and Black-owned businesses improve. And so we're going to be working with Sarah. I see Sarah down there. So make sure that we connect and we make sure that we identify opportunities. Hi, Constance. It's good to see Constance Anderson too as well. But anyway, my point is we need to make sure that we educate our Black businesses on the opportunities to working with the water utility. And the only way to do that is for us to highlight and promote the various programs that we have to teach them and educate them on working with the regulated water utilities through either California Water Association and the many companies that make up that association. But the 7 largest, and Emma knows this, the 7 largest, we meet monthly and we talk about how do we engage small, diverse businesses. But we have to do a better job, and I'm speaking for California American Water, and I know I can speak for several of the other California water utilities. We have to do a better job at reaching out to the Black Business Association and other Black organizations to make sure that we're being inclusive of them in our mailing list when we have these programs and we're ready to launch certain dates, reaching out and make sure that we ask that they be included in communications to those Black community-based organization businesses.
You guys do an excellent job with that. You know,
We have more work to
I've
do.
been around since 2006, and you guys have always done an exceptional job. That's how you got to 48%. I guess maybe bring a little bit more clarity to my question. Maybe the next workshop needs to be, if you're in pipe, you know, this was the analogy I used to use when I didn't know no better. I would say, if you can lay pipe next to fiber optics, why can't you learn how to lay fiber optics, right?
Right.
So if someone has a plumbing background or some of these other backgrounds, maybe what I'm looking for is
How do we
for
teach them? Right. Yeah.
yes, how do you
Okay.
help them transfer those skills? You know,
Sure.
is there a program that not only gets them ready as a business, but also to help them to illuminate how to transfer those skills? That's really what I'm more into.
And I appreciate that comment, Robin, and I will certainly make a note of that as I'm working with Sharon Evans and developing that curriculum that I mentioned. I did charge Sharon with making sure that we first focus on, and this is selfish again, focus on Black-owned businesses and getting the cohort filled with Black-owned businesses. But I like the idea of, to your point, maybe we reach out to plumbers in the area and say, hey, by the way, you know, if you're already working around water, have you thought about expanding into underground pipe construction? And here's what it takes to do that. So making sure, I'm with you, Robin. So I'm glad we're having this conversation, and we'll make sure that we incorporate that thought process in what we're developing for sure.
Well, as I said before, you guys have done, you know, and I know 99% of the folks in this space, you guys have done an exceptional job from the time I got involved in 2006. And so I think that you guys could literally be a lead in being able to show people how to move from, you're over here doing this, it aligns with what we do, but this is what our need is, and how do you bridge that gap? So thank you.
Absolutely. I'm making a note of that right now so I can share and work on that.
And I think that's an excellent conversation to have, Robin, because a lot of times our businesses don't know how. Everything seems so black and white when you look at doing diversity inclusion business, right? It's like, well, you got to do this, this, and this. So they don't necessarily see that, well, maybe if I'm doing this, but I can do this, and I may not necessarily have to be the prime, but I can work with someone that is. And sometimes we have to help them see that. They don't always. I've been coaching businesses for over 30 years, and I have to help them see other opportunities that are out there. Not everybody's that vision that is a visionary.
Absolutely.
Pretty.
I really love the idea of, and I made a note here to reach out to the plumbers, you know, the Black plumbers and other folks that are working around water to say, hey, by the way, let us talk to you about how do you take your business to the next level? Because really, at the end of the day, and I've said this in the beginning, I mean, when people talk about working with us, and then we put, you know, a small marketing company or a consulting company, those dollars are small. Where it's going to make the difference is that infrastructure spend. That's where the engineering, the Black Engineering Association, you know, that's where we're going to make a difference. Yeah, I have a few Black-owned businesses, but it's very minimal spend. I need millions with Black-owned businesses, and so we certainly will continue that effort. But great comments, Robin. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to comment, if you don't mind. There are other opportunities other than pipeline. We have professional services. Any opportunity that you can go to any utility and provide services, you can provide that same services with water. So don't limit your opportunities. And don't feel like, okay, we have plumbers on our as contractors and electricians and all of these things, engineers, IT people. So it's very important that regardless to what type of work you do, consider water as an opportunity as well.
Absolutely.
If you work for Edison, the gas company, you can probably work for us as well.
Hello, exactly. Good point, Emma. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's all utilities. So, and we're all regulated for the most part. But if you work, to Emma's point, if you're working for a regulated electric gas utility, likely a good fit for us in the water space. And the good news is you've already passed the all of the necessary insurance, all of that. So it's just really a matter of saying what you can do for the water. You can do the same thing for the water company, right? The same marketing, same consulting efforts. We need to educate customers.
Right. And the difference is certification. We get you certified, no cost to get you certified through the PUC. We have the supplier clearinghouse, and most likely all the regulated utilities have certification through the supplier clearinghouse. And if you get that certification, you can work with us. We can count that spend, even if you're not, you can still do work for us if you're not certified, but we count that spend if you are, and it's free. It's a 2-year commitment. You don't have to worry about it for 2 years, and get certified.
Absolutely.
And you can work for any of us, all the gas, electric, cable, all the regulatory utilities.
Absolutely. And that website is the supplierclearinghouse.com. So if you go to supplierclearinghouse.com, get registered. If you're already certified through NMSDC, WeBank, that's a reciprocal type of certification. You just make a copy of that certification, complete a smaller comparable agency application, and it's really, really a quick process. And to Emma's point, all of the regulated utilities pay for that, so there is not a fee. So it's a free certification for you. Yep. Pat, you had your hand up for a while there, so sorry about that.
Okay, so it's 3 of us in the room on laptops, so we're getting some feedback, so I hope I'm clear. I just want to say, when I started my business back in 2015, Ed Simon gave me an opportunity. And what I realized, even though I know that I learned a lot and I fulfilled, for the most part, my obligations, I wasn't ready to be an entrepreneur. I did not study the company like I should have studied it. So I could have done better, but because I had 41 years at a utility at Edison, I just thought I could transfer those skills from corporate America to an entrepreneur. That's a no-no. So my suggestion to all small business owners, before you start engaging with utilities, is learn a lot about that utility company, try to understand what their missions and goals are, read the supplier diversity annual report, and know where the spend's going to be. But I want to thank Ed for that opportunity, because it helped me grow when I first started my business in 2015.
Thank you very much, Pat. And I say it was a joy working with you. So yeah, I would agree that doing some homework is very important. I would tell you, and Emma and some of the other supplier diversity professionals, and Robin, I know knows this, the last thing you want to do is approach us at a meeting or a conference and say, what is it that you do? You don't want to do that. Don't do that, folks. I mean, at least, before you walk up, if you see American Water, or you see another water, at least use your phone to Google American Water. Oh, wow, you're regulated water. So please don't do that, because that is a no-no from the beginning. It just shuts us down immediately. That says you really didn't even take time to think about this discussion or conversation. I'm not telling you need to know everything about how to treat water, how to deliver water, or anything, but at least know that we are a regulated utility and we do treat and we distribute water. If you know that, that's all you need to know.
Well, and for this is so critically important that she's all of these guys have said it, that CPUC, California Public Utilities Commission, that website will give you everything that you need. Then you can drill it further down to that General Order 156, which will tell you specifically how what are they procuring, how are they procuring it. And then this particular sector does an exceptional job with their outreach, with their workshops, with the process. They believe in hand-holding, because at the end of the day, they need to succeed in their job, but they also want to see you succeed as an entrepreneur, whether you're doing business with them or not. And so what tends to happen, I always tell my clients, is critically important for you to work on your business, not just in your business, which means you need to allocate time for professional development, which is where you would be doing that due diligence. And so again, if you are still trying to figure it out, follow the utility sector. And they're sharing with you that utilities also includes the telecoms.
That's right.
You know, so you're getting really two sectors under one umbrella.
That's right.
And again, you know, when I first started working with these guys, to go from, you know, 25-30% to north of 50%, majority of them are. And so that speaks volumes to how they've been successful in doing, you know, you guys know me. I've said that supplier diversity role can be a barrier to non-success.
Absolutely.
That I cannot say about these people. I know for a fact that they personally take it upon themselves to do an exceptional job. The question becomes, are you going to do your part, right?
Absolutely. And Robin, to that point, and I would tell you, we're pretty proud of our results, and most of the regulated water utilities are proud of their results, and so are the gas, electric, telecom, cable. But again, when you peel back the onion and you start looking at the spend per ethnicity, okay, peel back the onion and look at spend per ethnicity. A lot of, in California American Water is included. I'm not proud of the amount that we're spending with Black businesses. It's just not there. It's not even 2% of that spend.
Wow.
I mean, it's not. And so we have to work with, as I mentioned before, the community-based organizations to say, how can we partner? How can we develop programs? How can we educate how can we create those creative programs like Robin mentioned to bring these similar industries together to say, hey, have you thought about, and here's what it takes to work with us, but then also how do we help them navigate into the higher dollar spend areas around infrastructures. Quickly, you can learn about meters, installing water meters. All of us have meters that's our cash register. I'm sure there are small, diverse Black-owned businesses that can install water meters, right? That's a huge part of our spend. The underground pipe construction is a little bit heavier, but we can help with understanding that and help put you in contact with folks that can educate you on how to start that kind of relationship in business. Go ahead.
Thank you.
I wanted to say another thing that
Emma,
I'm
can
sorry,
we let Sarah jump in there? She's been waiting for a
Yes, I'm
minute.
sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, yeah,
Go back
thank
to
you. Thank you so much, Ed. This has been so great, and I am absorbing all of this and hearing it.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff touching upon. The BBA is developing the Business Ready program that addresses the issues of, are they ready for these contract opportunities? So we have that there. And also too, what the BBA would be about is engaging more with members and actually seeking out businesses that have these, because what I suspect is that they're in the grind, they're doing their thing, working their businesses, trying to make their money and do everything, and not always in tune with these opportunities, what's going on. And so we are going to be more engaging and seeking out the businesses. And then the other thing Emma touched upon is that we all think of the pipeline, the construction part, but there are a myriad of different services. And I think that if we can speak more specifically to, like, if you provide this service, there are contracting opportunities. If you do this, there are contracting opportunities, and it'll wake people up more to the opportunities out there. So far as from the Black Business Association perspective, I look forward to zero in more, be more targeted, be more proactive and more engaging in seeking out the businesses and communicating with them what specifically is available. I think sometimes we're too generalized and don't really get at the nitty-gritty in terms of the opportunity that is there. So it's a big undertaking, but we need to really have these numbers turn around. I am just appalled by how low these numbers are. The last thing I will say, and it's kind of a question because I'm kind of thinking like going back to the most fundamental level of like businesses even engaging into these industries, into these sectors, of being trained, starting knowing that they can have these type of businesses, and going to the incubators and stuff to see if they are are really coming up through those kind of processes or whatnot. So I want to find out where are the places where your feeder, type areas, the pools that you can collect from. I want to go to those and see what they're doing and how are they, attracting or recruiting in, especially Black entrepreneurs for Black-owned businesses and stuff, and get to that. The more that we can have coming up through that pipeline, then they'll become eligible for these contract opportunities.
The one thing I would add to you, Sarah, that I would like to talk with you more about offline, and as you were talking about what's needed, one thing that came to mind, and Robin touched upon this already, all of the regulated utilities file what's called a general rate case every 3 years. In that general rate case, it lays out specifically what projects, where they're spending the money, how much they're planning to spend, when they plan to spend it. It's a timeline on the spending. So one of the things that you and I could do, Sarah, is maybe create some sort of class that teaches members on how to access those general rate cases, how to read them. In the report, it spells out who is going to be the project person. So it has their contact information. So Black businesses knowing this, getting ahead of people, other white businesses are probably already doing that, and that's how they're probably being successful. My point is, I'd love to partner with you on creating a class like that so that we can teach Black-owned business where to go, get that information. To your point, it's very clear on the project, what's required of the project, and then they can then approach the different companies with, for example, California American Water. I know you have this project or this pipeline project, and we can help you with this. So that's something we should think about. That way it gives your members a head up on reading, how to read those reports, and who to reach out to and when, right?
Love it.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, Sarah. I really would like to do that.
And I
Thank
teach
you.
I teach accounting and bookkeeping and training QuickBooks for majority of the organizations, the Vermont Slauson Urban League, as well as New Women's Business Center, and RCD, the coalition. So what we're finding is, one, our people are not going into trades anymore because trades are not taught in school. So most of our businesses are in services, right? And they're very small because there was not capital available for them in the very beginning. So they are doing very small business. So there are a number of us out here that's been working diligently. I work with Sharon. I actually teach a QuickBooks series with her with the Urban League. And to be honest, the very first time I learned, and when I first was exposed to the whole diversity and contract business, was with her at Sharon was doing a seminar, and Gilbert Buchanan, who is a business partner of mine, they were talking about this, and I was like blown away, just like Sarah. Why are there such a small number? Well, most of the time it's the structure, their financial structure is not together, right? They haven't paid their taxes and they have no accounting, financial statements or anything. So we've been working on that for the last 10 years, trying to get that part together. So the one thing the pandemic did do was it forced them all to get that together, because the Constance and the Emmas and PCR, they weren't given, there was no money if you didn't have that. So now everybody has their taxes are current, and they have I've taught QuickBooks so much I can probably I can do it in my sleep. And so we have them ready, but now is what Sarah says, we need to guide them to those type of businesses. We got plumbers out there who've been doing small residential for such a long time and barely surviving, but they don't get those opportunities. So they get frustrated. And the one thing that I found in my coaching with Black businesses is, if you get told no too many times, that's it. I'm just going to go back into my cocoon and I'm just going to struggle it. I'm going to struggle at this. and until I retire. And that's just the way they're wired, because they've gone, as Robin loves to say, it can't, contracts can destroy you if you're told no enough times and people are not embracing you. So I think those are some of the issues that we have to address. And I'm going to say this, and the reason I collaborate with all of these organizations, because we as one organization are not going to make it.
That's right.
Recycling Black Dollars by itself is not going to make it. BBA is not going to make it. Vermont, if we don't all take us collectively, there's a whole bunch of people. And if you're saying our numbers are so small, so obviously one organization can't do it.
Can't do it.
It cannot do it. We have to recognize that the need in our communities are so great. We gotta monopolize all of our talents and all of our skills and all of our resources to get our people to the place where you guys need them. I get this from Dennis Thurston over at Edison. I get this from Joe Child at SoCal Gas. It's an issue for every one of the utility companies out there.
Absolutely. But we need to make sure that we're not just talking about it a year or 2 years from now. We need to create some actionable steps that we need to do. And I know Constance shaking. I know Constance, you and I were planning. I still want to do that session with you, Constance. It's still going to happen, and educating people on the financial in your organization. I think it's a beautiful organization. We need to get more people around that. But anyway,
that's okay.
You know what, you guys, I hear what's being said, but like with Crystal, working with these the folks that I'm coaching right now. I'll be very candid. Yeah, the numbers are small on the utility space, but the effort has been there.
Yes.
These are not individuals who have not been out here trying to brag people, they've done everything that they can. So it becomes a thing of the organizations need to look at their membership. Are you going out to get members who can fall within these trades? Because the utility space, I don't work for them. I'm not getting a check. I don't even have a contract, but I can say that the people that operate under that CPUC General Order 156 across the board in the state of California, across the board in the state of California has been trying and trying and trying. So that's why I always go back to, you got to work on your business, not in your business. Sarah, you're right. They're in there grinding, but you can't keep grinding if you're thinking that you're going to create generational wealth.
Right.
You have to spend time, with your accountant, with your attorney, with these professional folks in order for you to elevate your business. So I'm sorry, I just couldn't sit here and I know the numbers are small.
Right.
Numbers aren't small because the people who are out there who are doing the recruiting aren't doing the job. They're doing their job. Crystal, you made a very valid point. You have some folks that you're working with now that you would be able to bring over to something like this, but whatever the results come from this. But I just couldn't sit here and not say that about the colleagues that I've been. Matter of fact, I learned my supplier diversity role through my friends in the utility space. Watching them, that's why I always tell everyone, follow regulated business. You will learn how to do business following these regulated businesses, and the people that are sitting in those seats, they look just like you and they want you to win. One last thing I want to say, and I'm very interested in working with coming up with a new cohort for this. Okay. I just recently, a year ago, worked with MGM Grand, Kenyatta Lewis, who is the executive director of Supplier Diversity and Sustainability. We rewrote her whole program. Historically, they've had 5 or 6 people in the cohorts. This year, they had 26 people, and 25 of them graduated.
Awesome.
Now, the way their program is set up, every person who signs up gets a mentor who's at least at the VP level or higher. Most of them are SVPs and EVPs. And so they've reworked their program. I'm going to put the information in the chat box because she's getting ready to seat a new cohort. But again, we have to relook at how these cohorts unfold and how do we bridge these gaps. And I'm gonna shut up now. Okay, bye.
So
Greg, nice to meet you, Greg. Take care, Gregory.
Gregory, I'll talk to you. I'll see you tomorrow. So the one thing before we wrap up, the internship piece, Ed. So here's the thing, Pat, Click, Emma, Constance, all of you guys have been in, Robin, have worked in companies, and now you guys are all retired, except for you, Ed, you're still there. But what about who's going to bring in the next Eds, the next Robins, the next Pat, the next Emmas? Who's going to bring them in if we're not going to the colleges and getting these young people? Right. So these young people come out of colleges with these, they got huge college debt, major degrees, and they're working at Walmart and Target. We got to do something, because once you guys leave, Ed, when you're at the California Water and you retire, how are we going to get us in there?
Right.
Workforce diversity.
That's right. Exactly. That's right. And
we have
to talk about workforce.
Right.
We got to talk about that and bringing our kids in. I have so many young people that I work with, and that's one of my focuses is when they go to college, they're going for their master's degrees in business and so forth. But when they come out, they can't find a job, and they're reaching out to family members. They can't get in the door because it's not even about relationships anymore. It's about that, you got to put it all online. So who gonna get you in the door?
Let me plug this really quickly, Crystal, to your point, and that's to Emma's point, that is workforce diversity. And just recently, the California Workforce Development Board awarded a $4 million grant to some of the regulated water utilities, as well as some of the other water agencies, to do just that. Reach out to the Black-owned or people of color communities to educate them on apprenticeship, internship programs. So your listeners should think about keeping track of those grant dollars and engaging in those. And I know California American Water specifically wants to do a better job at reaching out to people of color in the different communities to educate them. And we're going to be working on that as well. So I totally agree with you.
I'm going to hook.
I
would like to introduce you guys to Jamaica Marshall or Urban League, because they have a whole youth program the graduation program, and they're tapped into all of the schools. And so maybe that's something that we can, because they already have a base of students over there.
Let's talk about
I think we need to make that happen, because I am very concerned our kids will never be able to afford to live outside of their parents' house if they don't get jobs in corporate America where they're making good money. Then they can go off and do their own businesses. I can teach them that, but they got to start where they can at least have 10 years into the system so they can retire at some point while they do their gig thing. But we really have to focus on that next generation of Eds and Pats and Emmas and Josephs and everyone that came through, and Constance, all one of us that came through somebody to get to a corporate place to bring other people in. We just do a real poor job at that when you look at other ethnicities, the way they do that.
Absolutely.
Crystal,
yes.
I wanted to just mention, and I don't want to take a lot of time, but I did make a career change.
I heard.
Oh, you're no longer with the okay.
Rumor has it. I don't know all the details, but rumor has it.
Yes, the rumor is possibly that, Emma, can you mute? Is possibly correct. I am Senior Vice President of Neighborhood Housing Services. So the change has been from small business to housing.
Okay,
and so I'll never forget what I know. So I will always contribute to this to the best of my ability. But what I wanted to mention is NHS has a very vibrant internship program.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so
it's good to see all of you.
Well, congratulations. I have been hearing, and so I was waiting for you to make the announcement before I reached out to you. So thank you for doing that, and congratulations. So however we can help you, that's a very, I know Karen Bass is hot on that right now and really making some headway, as well as Supervisor Holly Mitchell. I went to an event that she did a couple of weeks ago, and I know that has to be our primaries, because a lot of those people out there on the streets are our people. So we gotta work on that. So however we can help you, reach out to us. We're there for you. All righty. It is 12:06. You guys have been awesome. Melissa had a quick question before we leave out. Ed, she wanted to know how can, let me get back up to her question real quick, because she asked it a long time ago. Her question was, are there funding or programs you would recommend through California American Water for small businesses who support children and families in the mental health space?
I would say yes. And if she wants to reach out to me at edward.simon@amwater.com, we can certainly talk about it. So edward.simon@amwater.com.
Awesome. And so we're going to talk about getting you in with the Urban League and the youth.
Yes. And then you're going to follow up with me, Crystal, on the sponsorship.
It's going to be Stephen to do that part.
Okay, Stephen. Okay,
Stephen will reach out to you, but thank you so much.
Sarah, you're going to follow up with me as well, hopefully. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We are definitely.
That's a promise.
Okay.
And I'm going to talk to Sharon and see what I can bring to this program that you guys are doing, because I've been working.
I am as well.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
Patrick. Pat.
Yeah.
And so before we roll out, we're going to have Ms. Renee, you're going to tell us about the ERC. You're on mute. And then we're going to close out. Mute. You're on mute. Unmute.
Going. Okay. I'm talking to you, Crystal. Everybody else can listen. Crystal brought one of her first clients to ERC to me. And this person was trying to do this program all by herself. I just sent you an email. She finally got accepted. She got $96,000, and that was over $20,000 from what she was getting by herself after she came to me. So this works. And please, if you have any small business owners that were jeopardized through the pandemic, call me, because this is what we do. And we specialize in maximizing their returns. So congratulations, Crystal.
No, thank you. I will call her. In fact, she just texted me a little while ago. That must be why she's texting me. I will reach out to her. I'm going to introduce you to Ken Hicks. He's him and Ron Lowe are running the RCD, the coalition of downtown LA for the Central Avenue businesses. So someone was on my show on the Business Zone talking about this program. I'd rather they go through you. And so I'm going to refer Ken to you, and they're working the downtown area businesses that are down there, which are factories.
What's his last name? Hicks. Anyway, I'm already working with Ron Lowe, and I just made a partnership with your people over at Vermont Slauson, and they're sending their people. I started in the hood because that's the people that don't get this information.
Okay.
Firsthand. So help me out.
Okay, I'll send you over to the Urban League to help, and then the New Women's Business Center. So those are at are you talking to Angela? Because I'm teaching over there as well.
No, I'm not.
Okay, all right. We'll work on that too.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, this is what I like, collaborations and things happening in our community and people getting information in a timely manner. So Ed, want to thank you so much. This is what this platform is for, is to make sure that we are being able to be productive. We're in a very, guys, Black history makes me real blackety black. I'm normally blackety black, but I'm really blackety black during Black History Month. But one of the things when I look around our community and I see our problems, and I see that a lot of times we're looking for those handouts outside, which is not going to come. I mean, that's just not going to happen. But I love it when we are all coming together to help each other. And that's why I am friends with all of you guys, because you guys are all on that same plane. And I'm speaking to the choir, but it's rough out here. trying to get our Black folks up. So we want to thank you all. I want to thank you all, and continue to do what you do. I will talk to you, Ed. Stephen.
She's gonna get me.
Stephen, you want to tell us who's here next week? Mute, unmute.
Sarah Harris got to ask you to come back and make the introduction for next week's guest.
Yeah, nice.
Okay. All right, Sarah.
Tune in, Sarah.
Yes, we will have Hyman M. Founder and president of FACE, and regarding our Stop the Hate, BBA Against Hate campaign, and would love to be able to have everybody back.
Okay, so we'll be sending out the marketing material. Sarah, can you send me that verbiage so I can make sure that's included? I'm gonna try to get that out this weekend before Monday. So if you get that to me, I can make sure that happens. Pat, you have a last
Just one quick thing. I saw the directory that you put together, your team put together. It is awesome.
Oh, for
the Black businesses.
Oh, yes. Let me see if I can find it. Thank you, guys. So if anybody has not put their business in the resource guide, we're getting ready to go to print in about another 10 days. So you still have enough time, but we have Black Girl Magic this time. Jackie is my business partner with Recycling Black Dollars, and she does an awesome job. I'm trying to get to the so you guys can actually see the cover.
I think Ed needs a copy.
All right, we will make sure
send Ed a copy.
Yes,
yeah.
please.
So
please.
Normally this is our guide. I don't know if you guys can see it. But we're going to print with the 2023 version, and on the front, if I can find it, it is Black Girl Magic. If you got my e-blast, you will see that. So Black Girl Magic has all the women that are doing some powerful things. Michelle Obama, Ketanji, all of the women. So we're talking Black Girl Magic this year. I'm supporting my shirt for the Black Girl Legend women. And so if you want to get into the resource guide, Jackie is still taking ads, and then we're going to print. But you will also still have the opportunity to get into our mobile app. And so, and then we're getting ready to do a whole marketing thing on that. I'm reaching out to Miss Jessica, my millennial, because we need to bring some young people into our RBD, because when Jackie and I retire, we don't want RBD to go to the wayside, and y'all forget all about the fact that we need to recycle our Black dollars. So with that, I want to thank you guys. Thank you for the extra time you've given us. We love you all. See you next week, and go tell some friends. Please go over to the Community Briefing YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button, guys. We've got to get those numbers up so we can start to monetize, so that we can continue this great platform.
Good.
Thank you,
all.
Ed.
Great to see everybody.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
See you.